Engineering the World, Ove Arup and the Philosophy of Total Design is the first ever major museum retrospective on the subject of Ove Arup, the most influential engineer of the 20th century.
I can't tell you how excited I am that we're having this exhibition at the V&A. To have engineering recognised in a frontline national cultural institution is just amazing to me, because engineers tend to play, a little bit of a background role.
It's really wonderful that the V&A has chosen engineering because it is an art, supporting society, making our lives rich and richer.
How many engineering firms have such a rich history that they get to display their past projects in the V&A that not just other engineers but the general public will be interested in?
So what our show does is celebrates the untold design stories behind some of the most recognisable buildings in the world.
To put it bluntly, I got fed up with philosophy. I realized that philosophy could not give the answer to all these questions.
We spent hours at the start of our research months of the show poring over Ove's writings about what design should be, and that really shaped the overall thematic structure of the show.
We were involved very early on in the discussions about sort of the history of the firm and some of the key projects that we actually had some archive material that could help tell that story.
To be able to open up these boxes, many of which haven't seen the light of day for decades, you don't quite know what you're going to find.
Ah, there it is! Any starting point with that always has to be the Kingsgate Footbridge, which was Ove Arup's favourite project.
I don't know how he did it. This is complete genius. Nowadays we buy a bearing off a shelf, but he designed one from scratch. Nobody else would even think of it.
No.
His ideas about total design revolutionized the discipline at the time. His way of thinking is at the core of all design practice today, and it really feels an honor to bring that story to the V&A for the first time. The first section of the exhibition is called A Portrait of Ove Arup, and here we really wanted to introduce the man and the thinker and bring to life for visitors his unique sense of humor and personality. There's no better way to do this than through showing Ove Arup's spirited doodles. They really bring to life the sense of humor and the artistic sensibility that was at the heart of Ove's personality.
To see another side of someone and suddenly realise that behind all those meetings there's been all these wonderful pictures being produced on agendas and papers and things like that. His creative mind, his imagination needed that other side.
I think it's great to recognise the achievement of one person. Ove Arup had a unique approach to how we should operate as an organisation and how we should serve society. To have that recognised publicly is exciting.
This exhibition has over 150 objects, and within that, many that have been specially restored and remade for this exhibition.
A couple of years ago, we became aware of pieces of a model of the Erection Arch in the basement of the Sydney Opera House Trust.
The initial question was, is it even feasible? Could we bring it back to life, stand it up to its sort of former glory?
We had no idea how it actually looked assembled, and in fact, it wasn't fully assembled to the shape that you see it here until a day before it was delivered on site. In the more contemporary section of the show, we look at everything from urban acoustics to crowd simulation. And that also shows the different ways in which engineering is in the world around you, in the way you move through a city, in the way you hear sounds in a space.
I haven't seen a sound lab done as a sort of temporary installation before. It's a great demonstration that everyone intuitively can understand, and it's a great way of showing the public how we can explore, in a design sense, all kinds of different environments before we build them.
We're also playing with virtual reality representations of the buildable systems of Wiki House.
The Wiki House project is exploring what digital technology means for the way we make buildings. It's almost like a kind of digital Lego.
So Wiki House can be a great opportunity of exploring the idea of collaboration in a project, open collaboration and open design. It's a powerful example of total design.
Because it's a Grade 1 listed building, we in essence have had to build a black box gallery space that floats inside the original fabric of the building. It's a lot of fun, but it of course involves a lot of structural engineers.
One of the challenges was that we're working with objects that span 100 years, and so it should be an exhibition that feels contemporary but timeless as well.
So it was important that the visitor first approaches the element itself, so that creates a curiosity. And then once you circulate down the exhibition, you can dive deeper into the actual project.
that level of passion and involvement is very inspiring, and I hope that's carried through in the exhibition.
For engineering to be recognised in the public eye in this way is just brilliant, because we're often the unsung and unnoticed part of creative design.
Engineering is central to the foundations of the V&A and to the commitment to championing the power of industrial design to improve daily life.
Everybody can get this sense of ultimately pride, but also fulfilment from what it is that they've achieved through working at Arup.
I'm hoping this will actually open up to particularly young people, get them enthused in engineering. It's great.
My personal hope is that young women see that as a really interesting and exciting career, and whether it's the Sydney Opera House, the Pompidou Centre, they will think, I can do this too.
A lot of people in the public just think that engineers are boring, and maybe they are. But when they see this, they realize, whoa, you have engineers and then you have engineers.
We have to look at the way in which OVE challenged the norm of the projects that they had at hand. So I think their exhibition reminds us of that history and then sets that bar as high as it can be for us to try and jump over it.